Welcome to Travel Market Life, your companion for industry insights and professional business development. Travel Market Life. Join us by webcast, video or podcast.
Hello and welcome to Travel Market Life. And this episode, we're going to be looking at Virgin Hotels in-room innovation and how it delivers revenue. I'm your host, Ryan Haynes, and I'm going to be joined by Jason Dobrik, VP of IT at Virgin Hotels, formerly at Mandarin Oriental Hotel Group and Morgan's Hotel Group, and also Martin Chevrolet, the CEO and co-founder of Innspire. We're going to be looking at the advancements of in-room smart tech, enabling better guest experiences and hotel operations, the commercial impact, and engaging staff with in-room technology.
Travel Market Life.
Hello, Jason, Martin. Thank you ever so much for joining me today to actually look at in-room smart technology. It's a fascinating area.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's an area that's evolving very quickly. I think every half year or every year, there are new things happening. We're adapting to the market, adapting to requirements from guests. And, as we progress, some things even become more or less generic and expected. And that's where we are with some of the technologies that were rolled out 3, 4, 5 years ago. They're expected now. So we need to keep being in the forefront and keep developing new ideas and new perspectives and new ways for guests to make a difference, a different kind of state when they get to these hotels.
I mean, it's a huge level of investment for hotels when it comes to actually identifying the right technology for the room, for the guests. We've seen, as you say, so much advancements in the domestic use of smart technology. So how can hotels really try to keep up and identify the level of expenditure and budget that they need to make sure that they meet these expectations of guests?
Well, there's a few angles there. Probably the most important being one that it does help drive revenue. Part of what we try to do is to work with our hotel partners to make sure that we're leveraging things that they're offering and selling within the property, whether it's food and beverage or experiences or tours or even memorabilia. Then they should be able to purchase that easily throughout the property, whether it's through the TV or through an app, whatever is the easiest way to help them enjoy their stay more and actually spend more as they're going through it. That's what we want to help them do that. But we can also see that it's offsetting the need for staff in terms of efficiencies. When it comes to the app, for example, it can answer a lot of the basic questions. We can make check-in more seamless, which requires less staff. So there's also, especially in these days, really importantly, ways to reduce staff costs while increasing the guest experience and then making it more seamless with these kind of digital and virtual tools and tying that all together so that the in-room experience rhymes really well and flows really well with the rest of the digital experience.
Now, we're going to hear from Jason just a moment in how it's being deployed within Virgin Hotels, but I'm particularly keen to really understand the range of products and services that you provide at Innspire and where you're seeing the adoption for maybe different types of your technology that you provide.
Yeah, so I would say we're very much a guest-facing company. We help deliver the brand. We deliver the hotel brand through digital experiences, whether that's through the TV or whether that's through apps. For a while, it was voice, like we have at home with the Alexas and the Googles. We have some of that as well, but it hasn't really taken off as much in hotels for privacy reasons and others. And then at the back end, we're more of an integration hub. So to make this seamless for the guests, wherever the front end is, to make that seamless, we need to be integrated to so many different systems within the hotels, from the PMS to the POS to the ticketing and HVAC and whatever it might be to create that seamless experience. So I think what we offer will evolve. The back end will be similar and will keep evolving, becoming more sturdy and integrate more parts into it. But the front end, who knows, in 3 years, we're probably looking at holograms or something like that. But at the moment, it's TV systems and apps. And what's really exciting right now is the evolution or even revolution of AI and how things are becoming more intelligent. I think we'll see a lot of automation. I think we'll see a lot of efficiencies. I think we'll see less dependence on staff input and more action that is produced based on set parameters and how AI can help hotels become more efficient and deliver better service. Actually, be more personalized, even though we may be able to add more digital tools to it and more computation. But at the same time, I think it can be more personal.
Absolutely. I mean, it's fascinating, and it's particularly how every aspect can work together. The important thing is to have the hotel tech stack that actually talks to each other, I guess, and be able to share that data so you can optimize these systems. Now, let's go over to Jason in a very heavily air-conditioned room. It must be nice and warm over there where you are. Thanks for joining us, Jason. So, love to hear about how Virgin Hotels is using Inspire Tech in its properties.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Ryan, for having me here. So with Inspire, we're using their in-room TV solution, and what that means is that when a guest comes into the room on the TV through the menu in the Inspire system, they can control their thermostat and turn the temperature up or down, like in this loud AC room here in Miami, or they can turn the lights on and off throughout the room. So, very nice features that if a guest is laying in bed at night and they need to turn off the lights, they don't even have to get out of the bed. They can do it right from the TV. And then one of the big points that we really noticed at Virgin Hotels is the revenue that it generates for food and beverage. So our property in Vegas, for example, generates over 20 grand a month just on food and beverage sales through the TV. And again, like Martin kind of mentioned earlier, not only is that revenue, all owners and love to see the revenue side, but then on the cost side, we don't need to have as many people answering the phone, taking the phone call, writing down the orders. So it does help eliminate some of that staff. It's a easier, convenient way for especially your younger guests to kind of interact. They don't necessarily always want to pick up the phone and dial down. And then the revenue that comes along with it is very, very key as well.
I mean, it's paying for itself by the sounds of it, and not just, as you say, in revenue, but also in streamlining those operations. And I guess taking some of those mundane chores away from the hotel staff so they can really focus on that guest experience. How did you really identify the way in which you can optimize that revenue, particularly F&B, through the systems?
Well, one of the nice tools I like with Inspire is they have really good analytics. So we're able to go into kind of the background and look at the analytics, and we can see what is the top seller, through their system, of course, through their platform. And then that allows us to kind of see, what are the guests most interested in? What should we target more? What do we want to push on the front screens of the TV? There's lots of ways of using the TV as marketing as well. So we have different screens at different times of the day that promote different stuff. And the analytics in the background that we can utilize to really see what works and what doesn't helps us out a lot as well.
Have you sort of seen a sort of shift in what guests want, or the sort of products that they're actually purchasing? Is there any sort of interesting insights that you've perhaps learned from the profile of your guests that you perhaps didn't know before?
Not really. I would say, the burger and the fries are always one of the top sellers. So not much of a surprise there, but it is interesting in some markets, like say Vegas, for example, you can see what time of day there's the spike. And, a lot of people are having a lot of fun at night, and they're up late, and they're actually ordering food in the wee mornings, hours of the morning, where at some of our other properties, it's more your traditional like breakfast and dinner patterns. So that type of stuff that you kind of think, it helps validate and really, hone in on the exact time that you're looking for. Is it 2 a.m.? Is it 3 a.m.?
And I guess that from that, you're able to staff your hotels better. You know exactly how much resources you need.
Correct.
Now,
Yeah,
Martin,
it's actually interesting. Just an anecdote from Vegas that Jason mentioned. There's a lot of French fries going through the system there. That's a big ticket item.
because I mean, there must be big hotels that you're looking after. How many rooms are we looking at in Vegas?
Vegas is over 1,000, over a couple thousand rooms. Typically our hotels are much smaller, but that one is a big one.
Yeah, absolutely, especially with that level of income coming through. Now, Martin, you don't have to invest in a brand new TV to get this up and running. I believe you can retrofit. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we have two different options there, which have kind of evolved over time. So what we did early on is that we wanted something that you could basically plug into any TV. And when I say any, it should still be hospitality TV for various reasons, but something that you could plug into any TV and make that TV smart and get the full experience without having to purchase a new TV. So that's what we call our in cable, which is basically a set-top box in a cable. That's why it's called in cable. So it's very small, very nimble. You don't actually see it once it's installed. There's no heat, there's no fans, there's no lights. It's just really runs. So that's good, but we think it's actually really good today as well that hotels are moving to smart televisions. I mean, we of course love selling our solutions, but we also think that the less there is to tangle with in the room, the less there is to touch, the less there is to unplug. It's a long-term benefit. It becomes easier for the hotels to manage it, and we get less questions at the end of the day. So we also have solutions that are purely software based that go on the major players' software platforms such as LG and Samsung's. So Tizen for Samsung and WebOS for LG, which is very easy to roll out, very easy to manage, very easy to upkeep. So we have those two versions to make it, and they can actually run in parallel, which we see very often, that a hotel may have purchased the set-top box or the in cable a few years ago, and now that they're looking to upgrade their TVs, our recommendation is buy a smart TV, and maybe you do it in the top tier floors, in the suites or in one tower or wherever you start, but that can run on smart in parallel with what you have on set-top box. And then as you evolve, as you start changing out more TVs, they'll go smart, and you can keep the other TVs for now.
So it allows you to provide a level of guest experience across the entire property, but by having staged upgrades to the technology in room. That's a great approach. And the other thing I understand is that you do the apps side of things to deliver guest experience, and you've deployed one within a Virgin Hotel, Mallorca. Is that correct?
Yeah, so that's actually within a part of the Virgin brand called the limited edition. And perhaps Jason is better at explaining how that works.
Yeah, we have our sister company. Now we've merged together to create the Virgin Hotel Collection, but those are Virgin Limited Edition is going to implement the Innspire app. So that'll be kind of our first test of the app side and see how it, compares along with the TV. Because it's nice to be able to have one vendor, and one solution versus having to manage multiple different vendors and solutions. So very excited to see how that plays out.
And where do you see, Martin, the value of apps for hotels? I mean, is it something that would sit side by side the in-room technology? Is this important for small hotels, for large hotels, resorts? I mean, where should hotels be thinking if they're looking at investing in an app?
I think it's the seamlessness. It's the everything should work the same way. I think that's the most important thing. Then if you have, I think the app is what people will use most frequently. It's what you have in your pocket. You pick it up. We're so used to ordering food and taxis and whatnot from directly from our app. But the TV should be kind of like the companion to that. And you should be able to cast your content. You should be able to do things on the big screen when you need it. But I think when you're out and about, when you're by the poolside, when you're by the beach, then that's where the app comes in. So the benefit for us is that it's all built on the same system. It's all the same integration. So we just do everything once and roll it out. So even if a hotel wants to add an app 4 years after their initial TV rollout, that's not a major issue because they have most of it already installed. So it's more of a matter of creating that app and rolling it out for them, which I think is a huge benefit. So the seamlessness is what we're really looking for, to power the brand, make that visible across all the screens, and create one experience that is the same wherever you go, whether you're in the room or you're by the poolside.
Thank you. I mean, you just took me on to the next point, over to Jason for the rollout, how you actually deployed this smart room technology and actually engage staff in that process. I'd love to learn what approach you had to take to really get that buy-in and ensure that it was being maximized within the property.
Yeah, it's tough if it's there's different installs, right? You have your kind of new build where it's a new hotel or a new opening hotel, and then you've got your existing hotels where maybe you're implementing the technology, which is much easier as far as from a staff buy-in and training perspective, because there's not so much going on like for a new hotel opening. So an existing property that's running and you're looking to put the system in, it's a lot easier training and staff buy-in. When you're opening a new hotel or converting a hotel, there's a lot going on. So the staff is quite busy and they're learning all different systems and how to do their operations. So it is quite tricky to get them to kind of buy into this TV or this app. It's kind of the last thing on their mind, or they think they'll do that after the hotel's open. But with Martin and his team, they've done a great job with us on really helping to provide some good customized training as much as we need, multiple trainings. So, we try to get people to attend, but they don't always attend, and we have to do extra trainings. So, that is very key. There's so much to do on this system with technology. It does reduce, those mundane tasks of answering phones and sending messages, but then it adds these extra things where you can really customize the stay. And it's important that the staff understands how to do that and how it works and be able to, utilize all the different features and get the most out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I guess, if they know what's going on and they know how everything's working on in the background, they can provide that support where needed if anything doesn't necessarily go to plan there. Martin, when it comes to smart room TVs, as we said earlier, it's a big investment. What type of category or is it best suited to for hotels? Is it for boutique? Is it for holiday resorts? Where is this sort of in-room technology do you see hotels getting the most benefit from?
Yeah, it's kind of what you said there. Boutique, resort, city hotel. I think we're very much looking for a very consistent branded experience. I don't think we're the best choice for an airport hotel where you stay half a night and you don't really utilize the features. You just go to bed. We're much better suited for places where you are part of the experience, where you want to immerse yourself in this case, the Virgin experience, and you're probably staying there for a few days. It's a resort or a really cool city hotel, like the Dallas one or New York. There's several examples. So we've really taken the direction that we want to be able to be close partners with our customers, and that means that we want to be able to spend a lot of time with them, which means that we can't spread ourselves too thin. So if we're all over the place and we're trying to please everyone, then we're just going to do a half job everywhere. So we decided to try to go the other route and focus on a few key players and be able to answer any questions that they have, and even if they're not related to our product, and maybe it's some other technology that's related or even competing, we at least want to be able to give advice for that, so that we can be considered someone that is worth talking to, not just now, but also in 6 months and 12 months and 24 months down the line.
Thank you. Now, Jason, advice to hoteliers. I mean, Virgin as a brand is renowned for the experience that it delivers its customers. When it comes to upgrading the digital guest experience and the technology, what is the key advice that you would give to hoteliers with a portfolio on how to approach it and identify the right vendors?
Yeah, I think the key here is kind of what Martin was touching on, is it's about partnerships, versus a vendor. A vendor is just going to come in and install it and kind of leave. A partner is going to be with you in the beginning, throughout the whole process. Afterwards, they're going to help you evolve the product. Things don't always go right. We've had issues before, and a partner will jump in right away and fix it and do what it takes, and kind of help you throughout your brand and keep your standards in there. So I think a key is really looking at good partnerships. And then again, you have to look at the technologies, what you want to go for stuff that's cloud-based, that's very flexible. As kind of Martin was mentioning, they have different offerings, and you can run them in mixed mode, whether it's for an older TV or a newer TV. So you need that flexibility in a system. And, from an IT perspective, I want to try to move everything to the cloud. I don't want to have stuff on site. I don't want to have things that engineering has to go into the room and fix and disturb a guest. So the more I can get off-site into the cloud, away from behind the TV, is better. So, those are some of the key areas that I traditionally look for in an in-room technology. And then, of course, you got to see the ROI, right? It's got to make sense financially. It's got to have some return on value and revenue. And then you can really check off on all the boxes.
Excellent. Jason, there are some great final words of advice there. Thank you ever so much. And Martin, thanks for that input and insight there into in-room technologies and delivering those commercial gains for hotels. Thanks ever so much for both you joining me today.
Thank you.
So that was Jason Dobrik, VP of IT at Virgin Hotels, and Martin Chevrolet, the CEO and co-founder of Innspire. Check out all the other podcasts on travelmarket.life or any of the podcast channels, including Google, Deezer, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Thanks ever so much for joining me today. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel on LinkedIn, Travel Market Life. I'm your host, Ryan Haynes. Ciao for now.
For more, go to Travel Market Life. The music sensation by Zach Nelson is reproduced under license from Storyblocks. Travel Market Life is a Haynes Marcoms digital marketing agency production, serving the travel and technology industries.